And now for something only slightly different. This is the Central train station in Amsterdam, and as you can see, the people are starting to gather. We are seeing folks get up out of bed and get ready for celebrating their big day. So I'm going to walk around and see what I can see of this beautiful city. The transportation in Europe has a good reputation, and for good reason. Everything here is on time and clean, and just something to be emulated if possible. And see if I can get a shot from over there somewhere. There's that same station, and it's a little more difficult to shoot with a lot of folks around, but they mean well. And here's some of the canal trips one can take if one is that way inclined. Just to give you a taste of all the beautiful architecture this town has to offer. The immediate reason for mentioning the transportation here is that I just got off a train from Haarlem, and it took all of 15 minutes. Beautiful, quiet train, electric of course, and quiet, and and then you run into things like this where just the local transportation just to get you around town. Little electric trams, you can't beat them. This kind of thing reminds you of Venice, with apartments coming right down the corner. I mean, that's rarely have great things to say about age, but that's definitely one of them. A little bit more sideways photography. These steeples are just crazy, crazy tall. Beautiful too. From the looks of the streets, there must have been a lot of partying last night, because there's trash here and there normally never is. A lot of popped orange balloons, and it's good actually, because it makes things a little more passable today. And once again, no shortage of bikes. All right, here's what everybody expects when they come to Amsterdam, besides bicycles: canals. These are where those boats would go, right? We took one of the ones you saw a little while ago. They'll come running down these canals in various configurations. Oh yeah, there must have been. There's street sweepers here. And in fact, let me, I spoke too soon. If one would like, one can take such a champagne-studded cruise down the canals of Amsterdam, enjoy all the beautiful buildings, and there's lots of details about these buildings that I don't remember or was never aware of, and Anne Frank House, which has always got an enormous line of people to get in, because it's such a small place. But so get your tickets early if that's your plan. There's so many wonderful things to see in this town. It's again one of those places where, had one X number of lives to live, I could definitely see holding up here for one of them. Okay. In addition to the canals and the bikes, one can come to this part of Amsterdam for what's referred to as the red light district. It's got that name because, as you can see there are a series of lights running down that little street there, and that indicates a window where one could do some shopping for merchandise that, because it's a program that's meant for everyone, I'll just say some enjoy more than others. But there are all kinds of things to see and do here, and it's a very liberal, one could say, town, but in a very pragmatic way. They don't really go to excess. For the most part, it's done as practically as one might. It hadn't occurred to me before, but I think the way that I would describe the culture here is healthy. We're walking around seeing lots of people jogging, obviously riding their bikes. That's why I'm trying to back up without slamming into something. And eating healthfully and taking sort of human inclinations and needs into account as well as one might. It's just, I don't know, it's a very sensible, I guess I would say, to my way of thinking, kind of place. It's about as, I keep using the word pragmatic or what have you, but it's about as, I don't know what, straightforward a place as I can think of. All right, see what I mean? Lots of bikes. Lots and lots and lots of bikes. It's I mean, if you're into bicycle repair, or if you're if you've got a business renting bikes or selling bikes, though, I mean, I imagine the used bike business here is just off the charts. There are lots and lots of bikes. Lots of great architecture, lots of canals. Fewer tourists, I must say, and fewer revelers than I expected. I didn't know that the festivities would happen last night, which is really good for getting around in this town. Well, I'm headed by a rather circuitous route because of these canals to the Rembrandt house. And as most people know, Rembrandt is one of the greatest painters ever, famous Dutchman who lived around here. And it allows me a moment to, first of all, switch sides, and then show you another side of the canal, but mention a place I won't be going today only because I've been there and it's very hard to get in, and that is the Van Gogh Museum. Van Gogh happens to be my favorite painter, but the reason I'm saying this is I always, anytime the guy comes up, it always makes me think that when you go to that museum, it's loaded with more canvases than you think anyone could produce in a lifetime. And as you surely know, his canvases are in museums in Paris and scattered around the world. But this one's just loaded. Little tiny museum is just loaded with canvases. And all of them, all his work, that we know, was done between the time he was 27 and 37. So when you think about doing something, anything, that frenetically, I mean, how could anyone possibly keep their sanity? And while I'm here on a beautiful sunny day. It started out rainy, but it's turned into a great one. It isn't always like this. Things around here could get pretty bleak in the winter. So if you don't have any money and no one's buying your stuff and no one understands what you're trying to do, after 10 years of trying and, say, to your mind, failing, no surprise how things went. All right, we're getting there. Thanks to the high turnout last night and low turnout today, we find ourselves at the Rembrandt Corner, which is a restaurant right next to the Rembrandt House, which is closed. It's a museum, closed now, and someone is giving a little tour. Since it's in English, we'll listen in.
It's definitely not the poor part. In this time, rich and poor are living quite through one another, but it tells you a lot about what is happening here. And he does paint a lot of his neighbors as well. There's portraits. You might not have seen something the Jewish bride, which hangs in the nice museum. Doesn't matter. Go look it up. We'll continue down to this street.
How about that? You could be a professional guide now, saying as little and apparently knowing as little about it as I do, and just saying, go look it up. Google it. Well, there you go. I'll try to see if I can zoom into the little insignia there at least that says, if I can read it from here, his Wohnung, or the Rembrandt's house. What does that say? 1639 to 1660 something. And so that's where all the great paintings were done. At least that's what I think. But if I'm wrong, just Google it. I was walking around looking for coffee, and I happened on to a coffee shop. But this one says Coffee Shop Reaper, and this is one of the other things that the area is known for, legalization of a number of things. So it just doesn't have to be the kind of coffee shop I'm looking for right now. I'm not sure if you get it from here, but here's a relatively steady hand of a canal with a sluice gate, and then yet another bicycle, a couple walking down to what to me is about the most twisted, leaning building I've ever seen, standing by itself. You see a lot of buildings like this in New Orleans. This is, and there's a lot here. There's a lot of these the fronts of buildings that kind of lean over, but this one would kind of disconcert me to work there. See what they got going on inside. All right, it turns out that they are still in business, and I asked, and it says it does lean that much, but there really is no danger. And out here on their back patio, that's the view. So I highly recommend it. There's no one here at the moment, but it's just a beautiful spot, and you'll see boats coming by soon. Now there's an adventurous soul.